just finished this incredible flight into landing in Bozeman, Montana. And we started here earlier this morning and we did a little Cirrus flyout. It was an absolute blast. There was a little known canyon pass that we ended up taking and flew from Bozeman over to Yellowstone, past the Teton Mountains, and then to Driggs, Idaho for a great lunch. Incredible lunch at the Warbird Cafe there. It's fantastic. Check that out. That's Ben Kowalski who's flying the Volt plane. Awesome. But you know what? It's hot and we're in high altitude conditions right now. So that means our density altitude is incredibly high. And I wanted to share the things that I learned from today's lunch excursion run. The things that I don't necessarily keep at the top of my mind while I'm out flying in the Midwest. It's a great reminder, a great exercise to stay sharp while flying on a hot, high, and very high density altitude day. But guess what? When you think through it correctly, you're rewarded with incredible views, and highly recommend doing this. And pick up an instructor if you need it, take you through that has really good understanding of what's going on and how to go through this. So anyway, it was a really great day. Let me share the top 3 things that I learned today when flying hot, high, and very high density altitude. So it's day 2, we're back at Bozeman, and yesterday it was just so hot, and everyone was in the cars waiting for me. So we're back in Bozeman at the airport, day 2. Today we're going to Renton, but I wanted to share my tips, or at least the top 3 things that I learned while flying on a hot, high density altitude day in one of these SRs. And the first thing that I really kind of got reconnected with was being patient with the airplane on takeoff. So we're at, here in Bozeman, almost 5,000 feet, so just under it, 4,500 feet high. And as soon as you rotate and take off, the performance is much different from what I'm used to in Chicago. And the way that my head is I start thinking like, oh, there's something wrong, something's different, something's not right. And I immediately try to start solving problems. You just got to slow down and take your time, follow your air speeds, don't delay bringing up your flaps because you got to clear obstacles. And that was really remarkable, that a lot of it existed in my head versus anything else. So make sure you prep for that and just be very patient with the airplane. The airplane is thinking slowly and reacting slowly, so you should too. And once you have if your head's going 1,000,000 miles a minute and the plane's going slow, now you've got to disconnect on speeds on how that's working. So one, just relax and be patient. That was the biggest thing that I took away from yesterday. Let me share the second tip behind that, sort of a byproduct behind what caused, it's more or less an effect of being patient. So the second thing that I really had to really start to reconnect and manage, and that really I was really grateful for that, is I was patient with the airplane, nice slow climb outs, VY, making sure that we had our flaps out and clear the obstacles. But when it's 98, 99, 100 degrees out, or high density altitudes, engine cooling becomes a real thing. So really understanding lean to peak climbs or leveling off, letting your engine cool down, coming past lean to peak in an SR22 turbo, that was a really big thing that we had to do to manage our cylinder head temperatures. When they started creeping up right around 400, that's when I personally start to react and change what I'm doing. Do I have to think about a level off? Do I think about having to shallow my climb? Do I think about having to do a lean to peak climb? Or even just a nice shallower climb, accelerate and work my way up in sort of in a general holding pattern circle. So that was a big thing. Cooling the engine was an incredible experience of being able to manage that, think through it, and that was all sort of derived. One of the effects of being patient with the airplane is that you just really had to monitor and watch over your engine temperature. So really enjoyed that part of thinking through that at altitude, making different decisions. And from coming from Chicago, where we don't normally have to worry about or think about that, where we have high density altitude, really hot days. We do have hot days, but never really have to think about engine cooling as much as we do out here. So really excited that we had that experience. So really the last thing that I had to really kind of be aware of is that up here in the higher density altitude airports, you really want to trust your speeds and follow and fly your airplane just like you would with off of an indicated airspeed. So the last thing that really kind of had me be aware of and I took away from our flight yesterday was on landing, really trusting and being true to your indicated airspeeds. We have a much higher ground speed up on a high density altitude day upon landing, and what that does is it creates a little optical illusion. So my true airspeed, my indicated airspeed, and my ground speed are almost roughly the same in Chicago if there's no wind. But out here, if there's no wind, my true airspeed's a little bit higher, my indicated airspeed and my ground speed are usually, all three of them are different. So being really absolutely true to those speeds on landing was something that had to kind of overcome, you know, visually out of my peripheral vision. I felt like I was coming in a lot faster and I wanted to slow down, but I was right on the indicated airspeed to come into land, and that was super important. So being true to those was on landing is very important. So it's been incredible out here in the high density altitude airports, and now we're going to go over to Renton, Washington. So we're going to go back to cooler weather, lower altitudes, but it was really a lot of fun. And these are the things those were the 3 tips that I took away and really kind of learned from flying that day yesterday. It was really fun to reconnect. You know, for those of you who are out there in the mountains all the time, I can really understand that why and how good you have to think through these things, and I came to another appreciation. So hopefully when you get to go out to the mountains, you should absolutely do it. Bring an instructor if you're uncomfortable, but my gosh, you're absolutely rewarded with some of the incredible views. So anyway, if you like this channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it, really learning a lot, and I hope to see you soon. Take care and fly well.